If you had asked me 3 years ago when I was here that I would be doing a horror film the next time I'm back, I'd be like, I think you've been a little in the sauce a little too much. You know, I refound my love for the horror genre, and for me as a filmmaker, the reason I took it is I kind of got to write the script. I basically was just told someone had, you know, the investment to make a horror film, and I could kind of go from make it my own. Okay. And then that, it was just like, couldn't this be a challenge that I can do? Can I work in a different genre? Can I excel in a different genre? But also things that I would never get to work with in another film: special effects, sound design, score. I grew so much as a filmmaker, so for me it was a challenge that I'm really glad. It just made me a better filmmaker.
Say I'm the investigator, so I get to lead an investigation into something that seems very troubling, and we're trying to find what exactly is going on.
I'm now believing that whatever is in this house has never been human.
Being the specialist on the subject was, in some way, a skeptic.
Yeah.
That her thing was more about debunking all sorts of paranormal things that people claim, and she's like, nah, no, it's not. I'm gonna prove it's not. So when something actually happens, then it's much more interesting and much more valuable.
How many were you able to scientifically verify?
3.
Out of 200, yes?
Mm-hmm. You seem disappointed.
You have to admit it's a very small percentage of the whole.
I play Keely. I am one of the lead's best friends, and she tells some juicy secrets to me in the beginning of the film.
You're in a positive, healthy relationship with a solid, gainfully employed guy who actually wants to commit to you, whose child you're now carrying. Tell me where I send the condolence letters to.
Demonic possession from different viewpoints. So from the different viewpoints of the people involved.
Yeah.
It's, I am the professor investigating phenomena, so of course I'm looking at it from the scientific view. You're playing the mother, you're going through the experience of what is happening, questioning your sanity, figuring out what is happening.
It could be whatever it might be.
Yep.
Stage 3, lights and other electrical appliances turning on and off. Unseen hands grabbing or touching, writings or pattern markings, doors that open or close themselves.
This film is quite different in the sense that, you know, we have 4 women, one who is possessed by evil. We're not really sure what that evil is. Is it an internal evil, an external evil? And you have an academic and her graduate student trying to figure out if this is real or not. And the mom is stuck someplace in between. And that's why I thought this film was much more maternal-driven than something like The Exorcist.
Smart, intelligent women are interesting to me, and then they're plentiful in the world. We just need to see more of them in film. So having really talented actors that you can trust and strong female characters is something I believe in and want to continue.
We need to break the cycle and get her proper treatment. And if neither of you will do it, I will do it myself.
Please, if you insist on going down there, humor me. I would say but it's also at the same time, it's a love note to The Exorcist, and there's nods to all sorts of different movies in the genre, but loving nods going, just the inspiration.
Yeah, and even something like The Babadook, you know, the mom and the child.
Which he saw after we had made this, and he said, if I just had a bigger budget, I could have done more of those things, were some of the things he had in mind.
I really like it here.
We have to give a hats off to the fellow who does the photography, because
Gus, yes.
it's
Gus
really
Saxon's fabulous.
Magical and really convincing. And the other 2 leads too, Lynn Justiger, who plays Veronica, your graduate assistant, and Grace Folsom, who plays
my daughter.
Your daughter, who's the one who's possessed, is really incredible.
Yeah, she's fabulous.
Shouts to us, sing us choruses. You don't want the child you carry. nuisance, inconvenience, wrong, wrong, wrong. Do you hate it? Or are you just afraid? Oh, incapable of loving it like your mother was of loving you?
You don't know anything.
Maybe.
Well, on a set, you're not so much scared because a lot of the stuff that scares you in the movie is the suddenness of things and the music, and a lot of that gets added afterwards with the editing and the music. So I wasn't scared on set, but I have watched this movie on a big screen, and I'm sitting there and jumping and going, why am I jumping? I know what happens, and it still has those jump moments.
He wrote it in the spring. We were shooting it by the fall, and it was done by the beginning of the new year. It was really impressive. He nose to the grindstone.
I thought I was going crazy, and I'm still not sure that I'm not, but I just don't understand. I don't understand why it's happening to us. I mean, did we do something? Did I do something?
Well, you start with a lot of coffee.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, it's not glamorous, but actually this set was really well run. It was, it was very lean and focused, and because David and Gus had worked together before, and then Gus brought along Andrew for lighting, who they worked together before. That was really good communication. I mean, it really went very smoothly.
Yeah.
No! I said I'm not hungry!
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean
Well, I had a day in a different space from what my office was, but for your house,
Right,
that
it was used, it was a single house.
It was a single house.
Are you okay? Why are you sitting in the dark? Bethany, answer me.
I think what you got to do is you got to create a comfortable ability, do a lot of prep work with the actors, make them feel like they can give their best performance when things are crazy and erratic and moving. So when you do have to push them, they don't feel like you're ordering them around or you're abusing them. They want to get the job done. They love what they're doing, And if Fiona, some of the actors got a little beat up on the set, with some stunts and some makeup. But, I think if you just kind of create an atmosphere, like we had a lot of laughs late at night when we're exhausted, if you make it just feel like a team effort and everyone's together and we're all in this together, whether it's the crew or the cast, you get over those things.
I had met David, and I think Fiona did too, at a kind of a meet and greet session. A casting director brought him in, and I was just like, I have to work with this man. I didn't know who he was because I came in late. And then started to get to know him, and when he wrote this film, when he was reached out to write and direct this film, he actually had both of us in mind. So when he wrote it.
What is it doing? Someone tell me what it's doing to my little girl.
It's killing her. I'm sorry, Joan.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. Help me. You have to. You have to.
Even from the audition, he was just so supportive and kind and caring, and just is such a hands-on director. He just really is an actor's director and knows all the right things to say, and he takes time to kind of get to know you as a person before you get to set and you're so rushed. He knows what to say and what buttons to push to get a character to come to life from you, and how you kind of connect to that character because he knows you as a person, and he knows those characters because he wrote them, and he knows how to get it exactly what he's looking for.
For me, the main word would be support. Creating an environment where I can be fearless and do whatever I want to do, and just being supportive of it and guiding it. I was never afraid to try anything because I knew David would be welcoming of any sort of, let's do this, let's try that.
I'm going to stop you this time. Do you hear me? I'm going to stop you.
From the 10th Annual Beaufort International Film Festival, writer-director David Spaltro, In the Dark, the first ever horror movie for the Biff. How was that last night?
It was great. I mean, we had such a great audience, and
It's really interesting that we are the first horror film you guys have
I actually didn't realize that until someone mentioned it.
He said it's the first.
Seems way overdue.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, I think just even for me doing a horror film, I'd never done one before. I'd done 2 feature films, so I think I had the same kind of bias against horror, where like a lot of it's exploitive or gory. And for me, even this film particularly, trying to do something that had a solid story, 4 female characters. That wasn't just
unusual. It had 4 female leads.
Yeah,
4 female
absolutely.
leads.
Yeah, and they all, they're strong, real characters. No one got naked. No one got, So it was very important for me to have that kind of reality to ground the horror in something dramatic and real.
Mm-hmm. And you brought most of the cast with you.
I did. It was so great. We had Lynn and Fiona and Kayla.
They were all good. And the young woman who played the possessed. Tell us a little bit about her.
Oh, Grace Folsom. Grace Folsom is anybody needs a fantastic actress. Grace Folsom cast her. I got to work with her on my last film, Things I Don't Understand. She's just amazing. When I knew that we were going to do this kind of film, the only person that I knew who could pull this off was her. So I mean,
she did a lot of heavy lifting in that.
So she's the heart and soul of the film, and if you don't buy both her when she's demonically influenced, but if you don't also buy her character, that and also to be able to go back and forth the way she does. There's no makeup or special effects in the world that could do what she did.
Exactly.
Is there a God? You didn't answer my question. Is there a God?
I was introduced to an investor who he wanted to make a horror film. He didn't know exactly what he wanted as long as it was a horror film. He had the money, and we were able to do it. So.
Like a scene out of The Sopranos where the guy's like,
yeah, basically.
Zombies, dead.
Came up with it, and so when I agreed to do it, it was like, again, it was so far out of my comfort zone. But
did you ever think at some point you might do something like that? I mean, you don't consider yourself a genre director by
not at all, not at all. But the funny thing is, I mean, as a filmmaker, for me, it was such an important thing to do because, again, as long as it's got a good story, I'd love to do a western. I'd love to do because for me, what I realized when I started watching horror films and kind of getting back and like, oh, I do actually like this, was the ones that work the best. They have a good story, they're about something, and they use the horror to tell that even better than if you did a straight drama.
What were some of your models that you went back and looked at?
I mean, The Exorcist, of course. Of course, that's but that again, that's a film that also is just it works as a film. I watched a lot of old John Carpenter stuff, his suspense, the way he used lighting and camera. I read a lot of old Stephen King because a lot of what we did with this film too is building the suspense. And Stephen King,
nobody does better.
Yeah, you read the first 2/3 of these long books are just you don't even know you're reading a horror story, and then he just sends everybody to hell. But if you didn't have that caring and about the characters,
a sense of something ominous is going to happen.
Absolutely.
At some point anyway.
I don't know why. Bethany.